Have you ever had that feeling that no matter what you do, you're still broke? You try to be responsible. You try to make better decisions. You tell yourself this time will be different, but somehow, it always leads back to the same place. The money comes in, and then it disappears. Bills, unexpected expenses, things you didn't plan for, and before you realize it, you're back to zero. Again. And after a while, it stops feeling temporary. It starts feeling permanent. You begin to question yourself. Am I doing something wrong? Why does this seem easier for other people? Why can't I just get ahead? And maybe you've already tried to fix it. You've cut expenses, you've tried to earn more, you've looked into ways to improve your mindset. For a moment, things seem to improve. But then something shifts, and you're right back where you started. This is the part that frustrates most people, because it doesn't feel logical. If you're doing the right things, why aren't you getting lasting results? Most advice focuses on what you should do. Spend less, save more, invest wisely, stay consistent. And again, none of that is wrong. But if you've been applying those ideas and still feel stuck, then it's worth asking a different question. What if the problem isn't just your actions? What if the issue is happening at a level you don't usually notice? Think about how many financial decisions you make every day. Small ones, automatic ones, things you don't even think about anymore. Whether you hesitate or move forward, whether you recognize an opportunity or ignore it, whether you stay consistent or fall back into old patterns. Most of that doesn't happen consciously. It's driven by internal patterns. And those patterns are powerful because they don't just influence what you do, they influence how you see. Two people can be in the same situation, with access to the same opportunities, and respond completely differently. One notices a chance and acts. The other overlooks it or hesitates. One stays consistent under pressure. The other falls back into old habits. Over time, those small differences compound, and they create very different financial outcomes. So when you feel like you're doing everything you can, but still not moving forward, it might not be because you're not trying hard enough. It might be because something is shaping your responses behind the scenes. And this is where most people get stuck, because they try to fix the problem at the surface. They push harder, they demand more discipline, they blame themselves when it doesn't work. But if the pattern underneath hasn't changed, the results tend to repeat. That's why it can feel like you're trapped in a loop. You make progress, then lose it. You feel motivated, then something pulls you back. You get close, but never quite break through. And over time, that creates something even more damaging than being broke. It creates doubt. Doubt in your ability to change things. Doubt in whether progress is even possible. But here's something most people never consider. What if the repetition isn't random? What if there's a reason the same pattern keeps showing up? Because your brain is constantly processing signals, not just from your thoughts, but from your environment, from what you're exposed to, from what your system is tuned to respond to. And when those signals are aligned with stress, scarcity, and instability, your behavior tends to reflect that. Not because you want it to, but because that's the state your system keeps returning to. This doesn't mean you're stuck like this forever, but it does mean that real change requires more than just effort. It requires a shift in what's driving your responses in the first place. Because when that internal state begins to change, something interesting happens. You start reacting differently. You start noticing things you didn't notice before. You make decisions with more clarity. You follow through more consistently. And the same situations that used to lead to setbacks start leading to different outcomes. This is often the turning point people describe. Not a dramatic overnight change, but a gradual shift, where things stop falling apart as easily. Where progress starts to hold. Where you begin to feel like you're finally moving forward. And it doesn't come from forcing yourself harder. It comes from changing what's influencing your behavior beneath the surface. So if you've been feeling broke no matter what you do, it might not be a lack of effort. It might be a pattern that hasn't been addressed yet. And once you start looking at it this way, you stop blaming yourself for every setback, and you start asking better questions. Questions that actually lead somewhere, because understanding the pattern is the first step to changing it. If this made you see your situation differently, make sure you subscribe to the channel, because in the next videos, we're going to break down what actually shapes these patterns and how they can be shifted in a practical and consistent way. And if you want to go deeper right now, there's something in the description and in the pinned comment that connects directly to what we talked about today. It expands on how these underlying influences work and what can be done to start changing them. If you're tired of repeating the same cycle, that's the next step. I'll see you in the next video.